This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on April 18, 2024, and was posted on Borough Hall website at www.hbborough.com and on the bulletin board at Borough Hall at 221 South 5th Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to my right and left of council chambers. Carol, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Karen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Foster.
Yes.
Councilwoman Canavera.
Here.
Councilman George.
Here.
Councilman Hale.
Here.
Council President Hurst.
Here.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han.
Here.
Councilman Costello.
Here.
Borough Attorney Shaw.
Here.
Borough Administrator Hoover.
Here. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So for anyone who have not visited their doctor, please go and check. There's lots of free clinics, especially at Robert Wood Johnson, and there are vans going around that will provide this service. And tonight, we, members of the Borough Council and Administration, we went outside and we took a picture to support breast cancer awareness. So you'll be seeing our little picture as we support those who may be facing this horrible, horrible disease. So please get yourself checked. We have one recognition tonight, and that's for Carol Avasgard from STAC. And she's been a member, she was a member forever. I remember back in the early 2000s when I had in the Environmental Commission and we did a plant rescue over at Rutgers, and she served us well. And you're laughing because you remember. We did the whole plant rescue and it was awesome. And you know, we had some of our native plants that we replanted at the Environmental Center and other places around town. And she has been a wonderful member. Tonight we have a proclamation in honor of her service. Council President Hirsch, because you are on the Environmental Commission, can you please read the proclamation?
Gladly, Mayor. Thank you to Karen Swain and Harvey. Thank you for being here tonight from Shade Tree Advisory Committee and also for advocating for this proclamation. It's really important that we recognize our volunteers, particularly those who've made a long-lasting impact on the town. So the Office of the Mayor proclamation, whereas after years of volunteering on the Highland Park Shade Tree Advisory Committee, Carol Avasgard recently moved back to her hometown in northern Minnesota. Whereas during the years she lived here, Carol was a valued member of the community, contributing much to the growth of our suburban forest, our street trees. And whereas Carol's interest, respect, and love for the natural world, and especially for trees, proved to be a valuable resource to the borough. And whereas Carol was chair of the Shade Tree Advisory Committee for 13 years, during which time other members came and went, but she was not deterred. And whereas Carol organized and arranged the planting of hundreds of street trees, which now provide beauty, fresh air, and shade to all residents. Be it resolved, the Mayor, Borough Council, and the Highland Park community wish to recognize and thank Carol Avasgard for her long-term, sustained efforts to improve our local environment, to provide shade where there was none, and for being an environmental champion and steward. And be it further resolved, we thank Carol for her years of volunteer work for the Borough of Highland Park. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Borough Council and Shade Tree Advisory Committee of the Borough of Highland Park, Middlesex County, State of New Jersey, does hereby recognize Carol Avasgard for her 13 years of outstanding volunteer services. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, staff.
Is there any member of STAC that would like to accept this on behalf of Carol? We could mail it to her. Oh, okay. All right.
Do you want to take
Yeah, can we get a picture with the team that's here?
Sure.
I do want to recognize Karen Swain, member of the Shade Tree Advisory Committee, also for your tireless advocacy as well. Karen is working on our.
Wait, let's get a picture.
Oh, sorry. Karen is actually leading our improvement efforts to our rain gardens here in town, working with the Department of Public Works to make sure that we have the right plantings in there and to make sure that they're graded with the street properly. So you'll see improvements more to come. But this is the kind of work that comes out of our boards and commissions, and obviously it's really, really important.
All righty.
Mayor, do you want to?
Right here.
Okay.
All right, I'll come down.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
I'll take one more, just in case, if anybody's looking. Later, I'll send them to you.
Thank you.
I have to get this photo from them.
Okay, next on our agenda is the approval of minutes. Motion to approve minutes for September 3rd, regular meeting, and September 17th, regular meeting.
So moved.
Okay.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Abstain on the third, yes, for the rest.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes, sorry.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
Now it's time for council report. Councilmember Kim Cho Han.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Kim Chohan, Chair of Finance. The Rent Control Board met last week and approved a 3.55% increase for the period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. This was part of their numbers and percentage are from the CPI data sheets from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics for New York Metro and Philadelphia metro areas were used for this calculation that they certified for the upcoming year. And along with the rent control board, I did want to announce that we still have a vacancy on the board as well for a tenant. This is a non-homeowner or a landlord. So we just a straight tenant seat that we have open on the board. So if you're interested, please fill out the volunteer sheet that's on the Borough website. And tonight we are appointing a new tax assessor. Our longtime tax assessor, Thomas Mancuso, has retired after 17 years. And we welcome Logan, and I look forward to working with you. And tax assessor Mancuso, may you enjoy your retirement.
Turn on do not disturb.
And I attended the grand opening and ribbon cutting of Super Fresh along with all of my colleagues. Like many of you, I was impressed by the store's stunning makeover. And the store is just becoming a vibrant new hub for our community. I stopped in there last night to grab ice cream on the way going home, and it was still practically late at night. And I also attended the Woodbridge Mayor McCormick's annual breakfast. The theme this year was Middlesex County and Municipal Connection. And while networking with neighboring town council members, you realize, well, I just want to back up because Middlesex County did give a shout out to Highland Park for their grand opening for Super Fresh. Was a kind of picture too, as neighboring towns like Piscataway and Milltown has recently lost their supermarket as well. And so you start, and you start to realize that we're not alone in these hurdles that Highland Park has overcome in such a small period of time. So kudos to Highland Park and everyone here at the dais for making that happen. we're being looked at as a model town. And lastly, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. It is observed from September 15th to October 15th. I encourage you to attend an event locally or virtually, visit a museum or cultural center, listen to some Hispanic music, try traditional Hispanic food, or even support a Hispanic-owned business like ours in our downtown. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Hill.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm gonna reiterate some of the things that my colleagues said. I'm so excited about Super Fresh. The other day in my refrigerator, I had some smoked trout with nothing to do with it, and I ran out and got arugula salad with a really cool grapefruit dressing. Anybody who wants the recipe, let me know. But the even cooler thing is that from thought to finish, it was 20 minutes. So how cool is that? Idea to execution. So that's a wonderful part of Super Fresh. I did want to make sure everybody knows that they have a great senior program. If you're over 60, you register for them on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You get 5% off your total bill. So that's a pretty good discount. Also point out that there is one of several new Facebook groups about Superfresh that are starting up. One called Kosher at Superfresh Highland Park, which helps identify great kosher deals at Superfresh. And I think there's others that are going to follow. So it really is an exciting part of our town. Very, very excited about that. As Councilwoman Kim Chohan said, she went to the Woodbridge Metro Chamber of Commerce. Really appreciate her doing that, and she has a great opportunity. Also said last week about Council President Hirsch and Councilwoman Canavera, who went to the Governor's Conference on Housing and Economic Development in Atlantic City. Next week, I'm going to be going to the Main Street, along with Main Street Highland Park, to the 2024 Middlesex County Business Summit. All of these are opportunities for us to reach out to the larger community outside of Highland Park. And that the fact that all of us are going, I think, is a real testimony to how important economic development and business development is to this council and to this mayor. And so we're really doing everything we can to get out there. And as Stephanie said, the more connections that we make, the more people that we see, the more that we can help our economic development director, Terry, who is very much overwhelmed with all the great things that are going on. So much so that very soon we're going to have an economic development assistant coordinator that's going to come with her. We're very excited about this new hire towards the end of the month. I won't say more about that, but we've got some great candidates, and so it's exciting to see all of the council come together, the town come together about really wonderful economic development stuff, because that's really a big thing that we need. I'll end tonight just by saying that October is filled with Jewish holidays, and this year Rosh Hashanah, this week is Rosh Hashanah is coming, and Yom Kippur, and then later on my favorite is Sukkot. The year that is ending with Rosh Hashanah Wednesday night is 5784, and it's been a rough one from start to finish. Even today, we're hearing about significant missile attacks on Tel Aviv. So, to paraphrase a great sage, Sherman T. Potter, here's the 5785. We hope and pray that she's a damn sight better than the last one. Shana Tova to everyone, and I hope it's a happy and healthy new year in the next year. So, thank you very much.
Happy New Year to you too. Councilwoman Canavera.
Thank you, Mayor. Board of Health wants you to know about two important things that are happening this month. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is held throughout October. It brings advocates across the nation together to end domestic violence. Communities and advocacy organizations across the country connect with one another in a true sense of unity to end domestic violence for good. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a chance for everyone and anyone, victims, survivors, advocates, supporters, and political leaders to unite in our work to end domestic violence. This is a time of solidarity and support. It is also a time for victims and survivors to share their stories. Only through true collaboration will it be possible to end domestic violence. If you or someone you know needs help, please call 1-800-799-7233, which spells SAFE, or text START to 88788. The Board of Health would also like you to know it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is an annual campaign held every October to raise awareness about breast cancer and to promote early detection, prevention, and treatment. It encourages individuals to educate themselves about the disease, support those affected, and participate in fundraising activities for research and support services. I can tell you myself that early detection is very important. The Human Relations Commission wants to remind you that we are in the second half of Hispanic Heritage Month, as Stephanie has told us, which is September 15th to October 15th. It's an annual celebration in the United States to honor the history, culture, and contributions of America, whose ancestry can be traced back to 20 countries in one territory. It's also LGBTQ+ History Month, which is an annual observation dedicated to honoring the history and contributions of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community, as well as the broader gay rights and civil rights movements. This month's long celebration serves to highlight role models, foster community, and affirm the civil rights contributions of the LGBTQ+ community. The Commission for Universal Access wants you to know that World Sight Day is an annual global event observed on the second Thursday of October, which is October 10th this year. It is aimed to raise awareness about vision impairment and blindness. The overreaching goal is to encourage individuals, governments, and organizations to take action to improve eye health and prevent avoidable blindness. The community food pantry is open the second and fourth Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. and again from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday following that Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Highland Park Gives a Food Pantry is open every Tuesday and Wednesday at the Zone 6 Community Center from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the Mental Health Commission would like to remind you once again that if you or someone you know is in crisis, please reach out for help. Call the Lifeline at 988 or text HOME to 741-741. Both are 24/7, free and confidential. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Wow, that's a very extensive report. I'm just going to ask you, council member, can you please repeat the domestic violence hotline number again?
1-800-799-7233, or they can text START, START, to 88788.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Council member George.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Phil George, and liaison to the Public Safety Committee of the council. Just a few some comments first. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm wearing my pink. It's my mother's pin. She's a double mastectomy survivor from the cruel days in the early 1980s and wore it every day and then passed it on to my wife who wears it every month. Also, just before our next meeting will be commemoration of Native American Peoples Day. Our family greetings to all of our Jewish families and as the high holidays approach and pray for peace. With regard to the police department, they had the gun safety program last week. Unfortunately, it was not well attended. I think it conflicted with too many events. However, it turned out to be even more of a benefit because certain of the speakers brought other speakers in who actually expanded the ability to reach into both pre-gun safety and the consequences of lack of gun safety for the next program, which will be run very soon. Our annual trunk or treat event is Tuesday, October 29th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the community center. Trunk or treat is an event with the department and our families for children to go from trunk to trunk and trick or treat in safer style, have fun. There are fun events. This year there is a car decorating competition that you can join. Anybody can join in and decorate their car. If you want to, contact Officer Fitzgerald at bfitzgerald@hpborough.com. That's B Fitzgerald. That's FITZGERALD at hpborough.com to enter your vehicle and decorate it for Halloween. The library, the news keeps getting better and better. I met with staff and the executive director today at the library. And then afterwards, the Buildings and Grounds Committee is meeting tonight to discuss the current status and opening. Right now, the temporary facility has been closed so that the staff can shift holdings over to the main building, get the new facilities up and running, since they're substantially new facilities there in computing, including the computer banks, an operating system that coincides with the new interlibrary Polaris e-lending system. So they're being reorganizing after a long time out of the facilities. The roofing contractors at work removing the old ductwork, they're fabricating at their main plant the new ductwork, and hopefully Buildings and Grounds will have more news tonight. They're meeting at 7 o'clock. Other than that, it's a tough night for entertainment. Liberty meeting the Aces in Brooklyn in round 2. The debate at 9 o'clock, and trivia at Pino's at 8 o'clock. So it's a tough night, but a great night for everybody's choices. And thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Postoli.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Jason Stelnick. I chair the Recreation and Arts Committee. Before we get into Recreation and Arts matters, I just want to echo some of the sentiments of my fellow colleagues up here. To just say that the opening of Super Fresh is tremendous. I want to commend the mayor and administrator and staff and my fellow council members for all the work they did to make this finally come to fruition. I've been several times since they first opened. Every single time I go, it is always busy, and I foresee that to stay that way and be successful. So very excited about that. So I'm just going to launch into some of the Department of Recreation announcements I had. So first up, there's a flu shot clinic on Wednesday, October 9th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the community center. The clinic is open to all Highland Park residents. Please call 732-819-0052 or just stop by the community center for more details. A little later this month, there will be a blood drive on Tuesday, October 15th from 12 to 6 at the community center. To make an appointment, go to nybc.org/drive. Again, that's nybc.org/drive and use sponsor code 65031. Lastly, the recreation announcements. I'm very pleased to announce the annual Halloween Festival and Costume Parade will be back on Sunday, October 27th from 1:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon in the parking lot by the community center. It's always a really good time, lots of kids, lots of activities, lots of music, events, candy, and of course the costume parade. I will be there. Hope to see you all there too. And then lastly, I have an exciting Arts Commission announcement. So I think I mentioned this last time, but there's a poetry festival that the Arts Commission is putting on. They'll be on Sunday, October 6th from 4 to 9 p.m. at Pino's Wine Cellar at 13 North 4th Avenue. Although I think everyone knows where Pino's is. Kind of seeing poets from town and around the state. There will be featured performers and a poetry competition. They picked me to be a judge at this for whatever reason. I'm not really that well versed in poetry, but I promise to do my best, and I'm sure it will be a good time. And then lastly, just to echo some of the sentiments of my fellow colleagues, just want to wish Happy New Year to members of the community that will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah. Really hope and wish that this new year brings peace for that community, my community. And that's all I have for tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Council member, just repeat the date of the blood drive again, date and time.
Good call. That is an important one. So that is Tuesday, October 15th from 12 to 6 p.m. at the community center.
Thank you. And Council President Hirsch.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everybody. My name is Matthew Hirsch. I chair the Public Works Committee. Within that committee is liaison to Sustainable Highland Park. So I have a few things to report from them. So happy October 1st. We have a lot of exciting events planned and hope you can join us. And just like how I said with the Shade Tree Advisory Committee, Sustainable Highland Park is another very active organization that really works hard to inform us on policy and advocate and also host events in the community. So among those that you should keep a lookout for are community cleanups, a guided tour of the Native Plant Sanctuary, Middlesex County is hosting a paper shredding event in Donaldson Park. I'll get to dates, hold on. Free native plant giveaway. And of course, our next meeting is October 23rd. That's a Wednesday at 7:30. Now you have some work to do. You can go to sustainablehighlandpark.org. That's sustainablehighlandpark.org for a link to the meeting on October 23rd, but also for links and more information on everything I just mentioned. If you go there, you can find the dates and times of the meetups, you can find more details, and you can also get on Sustainable Highland Park's mailing list, which is really important. So check them out, very active and looking for members. So if you're interested in volunteering and being a steward of the environment, Sustainable Highland Park wants you. It is fall outside, and I sound like a broken record, but the shrubs continue to grow. Please remember to maintain your shrubs if they run along a sidewalk, and particularly if you have a corner property. Why is this important? As a walking community, it's essential our walkways are free of obstructions and have room for two people to pass each other comfortably. But it's also important to create as much room on the sidewalk as possible for those using a wheelchair, a stroller, or anything else that might require additional space. More as we embark on our townwide Safe Routes to School program and improve crosswalks, sidewalks, and sidewalk ramps, it's essential that sight lines at corners are clear for automobiles and pedestrians and cyclists. If you have a corner property, congratulations, you have a beautiful vista view of your corner, but you also have additional responsibilities to keep shrubs clear of sidewalks for maximum visibility. Again, it is fall, so 5 sustainable tips for the fall, courtesy of Sustainable Highland Park. Bring your reusable mug for your seasonal drink or ask for a For Here cup. That includes pumpkin spice options. Leave the leaves. Karen Swain would appreciate this. Or even better, compost your leaves. Thrift or repurpose your old clothes. Sustainable Highland Park, we worked together to put together a comprehensive resource list ahead of the townwide garage sale on options that you can have to free yourself of your extra garage sale goods instead of leaving them by the side of the road for garbage pickup, which is essential sometimes. But there are some other options. Are you carving a pumpkin? Cook with nutritious pumpkin seeds and compost the unused parts. And inflate your tires for better fuel efficiency, particularly in the cold weather. All it takes is that one cold morning where your tire light goes on and say, tires. Did you know that on September 21st, it was Zero Emissions Day? This is all about taking meaningful steps to reduce our carbon footprint and contribute to a healthier planet. A couple of things that you can do to prepare and make a difference today and every day is by saving energy. Turn off the lights when you leave a room. Unplug electronics when they're not in use. Opt for air drying your clothes and dishes instead of using energy-intensive dryers. Every bit of energy saved helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Choose zero emissions transportation. The way we move around matters. We just talked about walking. That's zero emissions. Ditch the car today if you can. I am a commuter. I drive a lot, so I look for every opportunity not to get out of the car and not drive. Choose to walk, bike, or take public transportation. Not only will you reduce your carbon footprint, but you'll also enjoy the fresh air and exercise. That really makes a difference too. Getting out and walking for an hour a day makes a big difference. Let's make our streets a little greener and our air a little cleaner. Fight for lower emissions. We talked about advocacy that our boards and commissions do, including the Environmental Commission. Your voice is powerful. Advocate for policies and practices that prioritize the environment. Come to some of our meetings and learn about statewide legislation or other multi-town advocacy efforts. For example, Sustainable Highland Park and the Environmental Commission work with a consortium of regional environmental commissions. And join the movement. So you can share your hashtag Zero Emissions Day actions, and you can share them with Sustainable Highland Park if you email sustainable at I apologize. Let me just Highland Park Sustainable at gmail.com. So if you take a picture, send it our way. Public Works. On tonight's consent agenda, we will vote on authorizing a professional service agreement for engineering related to improvements on North Highland Avenue, Graham Street, and South 8th Avenue. So more of our investment in roads, along with the previously reported pending improvements to 4th Avenue, Denison, and Harbor Street. Thank you also to the Public Works Department, Mike Wazorkowitz and his team for their tireless work throughout the townwide garage sales and Arts in the Park. And then also managing two bulk pickups the following week, as well as garbage collection and recycling collection. It's a lot of work, and so we really appreciate the residents and your involvement in placing items by curbside neatly, and you know, it all works together. Thank you, Councilman Hale, for mentioning the governor's housing conference hosted by the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency. As mentioned, Councilwoman Canavera and I were both there, and it was just a really good opportunity to learn about the needs of the needs of communities statewide, and also our statewide need for more housing. You know, we talked about rent control. And rent control really is a symptom of a housing market that is, you know, that is unchecked and out of whack. You know, and that's why towns enact rent controls. But in order to counterbalance that, production is really important. So what we learned and what we're hearing from presidential candidates as well is that housing production is going to be very, very important for all our communities moving forward in order to drive down prices, create more housing options, and really truly integrate our communities financially. But thank you, Mayor. That's my report.
Thank you, Council President. I just have a quick question. Are they doing the bags? The bags are available, the leaf bags?
Leaf bags are, yes, we talked about that. I may have to defer to Terry though. We do have leaf bags for pickup at the Public Works Department, but I would want to just confirm that.
Terry just nodded, yeah.
We do, are they in?
I believe so, but why don't we'll make sure we communicate that more definitively.
Yes, so.
So we'll put something on the website when they're ready.
So typically leaf bags are available free leaf bags are available for pickup at the Public Works Garage on Valentine Street. We believe they're in. We have been planning for this and just waiting for confirmation. Thank you.
Borough Administrator report.
Mayor, I just wanted to thank you, Terry Hover, Borough Administrator, Economic Development Director. I did want to point out one other resolution for tonight regarding the security systems upgrades at the rec complex. That refers to the new track and turf field area that we partnered with the schools on renovating fairly recently. We have a little money left over from our collaboration, and we mutually agreed it would make sense to install additional cameras to be able to keep track of things back there in the evening hours. We do get quite a bit of litter and use left behind after evening use. And so we hope this helps deter some of that and also helps us follow up on any issues that may happen back there. So we're looking forward to implementing that over the next few months. Thanks.
Thank you. Borough Attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just was going to go quickly through the rules for the council meeting, if that's okay, Mayor?
Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. Please be advised that we have implemented a new set of procedures on how we conduct council meetings. The mayor runs the meetings, and the public will have 3 times in today's agenda to participate. The first opportunity, if you have a chance to look at your agenda, for public participation is after the mayor's report. This time is limited to questions only about the resolutions and ordinances that are up for a vote on today's agenda. Any questions or comments will be first placed on the record, and that will be from individuals that are sitting in the room with us and then via Zoom. Then the public portion will be closed. Once the public portion is closed, the mayor will respond to the question or direct a member from the governing body, directors to respond to the public's inquiries. Public cannot speak once the public portion is closed. Second opportunity tonight for the public to speak will be for each of the second hearings or ordinances that we have on the agenda. At this time, a member of the public may have a question or a comment regarding that specific ordinance that is being introduced for a second hearing. Once the comments are heard, or any questions that are asked, the public portion will be closed, and the mayor will respond or direct a member from the governing body or directors to respond to the inquiry. Then, finally, after a vote for the consent agenda is passed, there shall be a third opportunity for public participation. The public at this time may ask a question or make a comment on any topic. Once all the members of the public are heard in person and via Zoom, the public portion will be closed. Once the public portion is closed, no one from the public will be able to comment. The mayor then will respond or direct anyone else from the dais to respond. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. And now it's time for my report. I also have a very brief report. And on October 8th, we're going to be bringing local government to the community. So we're going to be meeting at 6:30 p.m. outside of Irving School in Maryland Avenue, and it will be about from 6:30 to about 7:30 p.m. And we want to hear members that live in the 13th district, any questions, comments that you may have, that you can address us there. So we want to make it easy for those who can't attend a council meeting. We want to bring government to you so we can hear what you have on your mind and what concerns you may have. So stay tuned, look out for that. You should be seeing that via Nixle and in our Take 5. So we really want to hear from you. So hope to see you there. Also, speaking of communication and how better we can communicate, we are doing a survey. The Borough of Highland Park is doing a survey, the communication team, and we need to hear from you. We want to find out how can we better communicate with each and every one of our residents. So we're looking for different ways in which to do so. And you can participate in that by visiting www.surveymonkey.com. So you can go to www.surveymonkey.com on our Borough website, and the information should be there on how you can participate in the survey. It's about 10 questions. It won't take long for you to answer the questions, and to encourage you, we're giving away gift certificates, or we're giving a few gift certificates away. So we really want to hear from you. So please go to our site, get that information, and let us know how we can better, we can communicate with you much more effectively. Also, I do want to say that I attended a breakfast that we had for one of our long-standing employees of over 17 years, and that was our tax assessor, Tamman Kuso. We thanked him for his many years of service, and we're looking forward to having Logan, as Councilmember Kim Cho-han reported on. So Tom, thanks for all you did for Highland Park. And last but not least, just want to say Happy New Year to the members of the Jewish community and everyone. Please continue to enjoy Super Fresh. Public participation, 21 minutes total, 3 minutes per speaker, limited to item on this agenda. Comments from members attending in person will be heard first, followed by those attending on Zoom. So the comments, that it's only for what's on the agenda at this moment. Okay. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Angela, Middlesex County Association of the Blind, 242 South 6th Avenue, Highland Park. I fell on a piece of sidewalk on Mansfield Avenue. I went to the Housing Authority. They're telling me it's the borough. Can we get this fixed? It's a 4x5 piece of sidewalk that's very hazardous. My second thing is, you mentioned about the blind. I would like to be in contact with you about that. Mr. Blazer has talked to us about universal access. The woman from Universal Access sent us an email. I asked her the telephone. We are blind. We need to communicate other than email. And that's all I have to say. So if you want to talk to me, I will be around. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from a member of the public? Please state your name and address.
Fort Biondi, 239 South Sixth Avenue, apartment 206. And Park, New Jersey, 089. I just heard a comment about Nixle. I've requested it 3 times and I still haven't been put on. And I don't know why. That's one of the few ways I have of getting information, because being blind, you can't see signs. Sometimes you can go on the website, you can look, but if it's something that's needs to be, you need to get information quickly on, you may or may not see it right away. I've had experience with Nixle. I first got it from Sandy, and even though it was in Sayreville, it was handy to have it. And then when I lived in Oakwood, they had a code red, which is almost the same thing. And it was handy to tell me things like the streets might be closed, or if there's some kind of a weather situation, or some other things that are going on in the town that you didn't know about. And especially if you're going to be walking around, sometimes there'll be construction, there'll be things going on that you may or may not know until you get there. And I requested it, and for some reason that I don't understand, this is the 3rd time I've asked for it and I haven't gotten it. So I'd like that resolved at some point in the near future. Thank you.
Hi, Lois Fleming, North Second Avenue. Yeah, Super Fresh is beautiful and crowded with people and crowded with merch. But I question the 5-foot aisles. Speaking of accessibility, I think a path of trail has to be 5 feet. And then they have these little shelves here and there, reducing it to less than 4 feet where the shelves are. If you have 2 wheelchairs coming, maybe somebody should look into that. Recycling, yeah, town rides out. I'm gonna say it again. I don't think in 2 days of driving around, except for lunch and a few stops, I don't think I did 5 miles. So I think you really should consider that without a map. The other men, you look at them and then, as I said last time, you just stop and you drive around and you walk around and you find things. I guess I'll have a time for public speaking during the accessible parking resolution ordinance to speak. And yes, Happy New Year, everyone. I'll come back. Thank you.
Anyone on the Zoom?
Yes, Mayor, I see 6 attendees on Zoom, and it looks like Diane Feldman, your hand is up. Please state your name for the record, please.
Diane Feldman, North 4th Avenue. I wanted to comment on the ordinance 2094, which is adding stop signs at the intersection of Cleveland and Madison, so that all traffic has a stops. And while this sounds good, I would like to understand how the town plans to enforce this stop sign. And the reason I'm asking the question is because several years ago, no left turn was introduced from North 4th onto Raritan. And I go through that intersection multiple times a day. And there's anything from 1 to 3 cars going left from North Fourth onto Raritan. I have never seen anybody enforcing the no left turn as a side question. I believe I saw from Representative Pallone that we are getting funding for 3 additional police officers. And I would like to understand what additional traffic enforcement there will be now that we will have additional police on staff. Thank you.
Anybody else?
No other hands up, Mayor.
Seeing that there's no one in public, seeing that there's no further, may I have a motion to close public participation?
So,
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Canavera? Yes. Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
First, I would just like to address Mr. Bundy's concern about Nixle. We just need to just take your information again, and if you did not receive any information from us, maybe you can check your spam to see if it went into spam. So just, we'll take it again, and if you have not received it the next few days, just check spam and see if it went into your spam account.
It would be an email, right?
Yes, so check your spam account, see if it went into a spam email account. And then Mansfield Avenue, we'll talk about that. Terry, you could just
I'll be sure to follow up.
to
I'm
address
familiar
that.
with that location and I can follow up on that. We can connect.
And I'm sure Councilmember Canavera will reach out to you and provide information regarding the support that's there for the blind.
The volunteers, they don't like giving their phone numbers out, but I will, at the end of the meeting, give you my personal cell number so we can discuss universal access and how you can be a part of the meetings.
Thank you. And as it pertains to the grant that we received from Congressman Pallone for 3 police officers, we're still working through the details of that. We don't know at this time. We're going to be accepting the grant, but we don't know at this time what specific area it's going to be. We did receive the grant for anti-Semitism, anti-Asian violence, and general violence against people of color, and to keep our town safe. So all of that safety and community policing. So all of that will be considered as we look to hire and get new staffing on board, but we don't know all the details of it as yet. So stay posted, we'll provide that as soon as we have it. Ordinance requiring a second reading. Clerk, can you please report on ordinance number 24-294?
Ordinance amending and supplementing Part 1 Administrative Legislation, Chapter 7 Traffic, Schedule 10 Stop Intersections within the Borough of Highland Park, Cleveland Avenue at Madison Avenue has been duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file.
And now it's time for public hearing on this ordinance. If anyone would like to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone. And if there's anyone on Zoom, please raise your hands. Come into the microphone, please state your name and address. Seeing as there's no one in the audience, anyone on Zoom?
Yes, Mayor, looks like Diane Feldman has her hand up. Please state your name again for the record, please. Diane?
Oh, there. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I gave my comments earlier. I'd like to understand what kind of traffic enforcement there will be at this intersection, because we just don't have a good track record with increasing traffic, changes to traffic patterns, and ensuring that they will be observed. I would like to understand how this fits with the safe walking and cycling work that's been going on in town. Thanks.
Thank you. As I said earlier, with this new grant that we have received, that we're going to be receiving, we have to look at all the dynamics and how the chief will decide how the police department will be serving the community in these areas. We don't have that information at this time, but please stay tuned. We'll provide it as soon as we have it. Anyone else?
No more hands raised.
Seeing there's no further, may I have a motion to close this public hearing on ordinance number 24-294?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject ordinance number 24-294?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
Clerk, please report on ordinance number 24-295.
Ordinance amending and supplementing Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 278-17, parking on-street accessible parking spaces within the Borough of Highland Park, has been duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file.
Public hearing is now time for public hearing on this ordinance. If you would like to speak, please come up to the microphone. If you're on Zoom, please do the raise hand button. Anyone speaking at this time at the microphone, please give your name and address.
Lois, North Second Avenue. I'm gonna bet those electronic tickets are being given out on the turns on North Fourth instead of needing an officer, but that's just my guess. Okay, on-street parking, is this strictly for residential homes? And or like the restaurant and apartments on 139 Rafferty Avenue that had accessible parking for the accessible apartment, and Highland Park's planner forced the builder Anton to remove it? And also, how many spaces on Raritan Avenue, as Joy Norsworthy, councilwoman in the 90s, requested on both sides, each block, have a handicap parking space? Is that, I didn't get a chance to read. Is that what it's gonna, oh, you're not gonna answer. Okay, I think that's it. Because I'd like to know where and how many, and my suggestion is, well, up North Second Avenue, 3 seniors begged for 1 handicap space on North Second because the apartment parking is small. This is years ago, and they wouldn't allow it. So they were turned down by Highland Park and even the universal access, I'm told. But if you simply paint the last 4 digits of the placard, then you can cover it over and put new digits, assuming there's another person going to park there. You can enforce it that way, so neighbors will park in the handicap, whether it's here at the restaurant, just put the number there. But anyhow, thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Councilmember George, would you like to comment on this?
Thank you, Mayor.
That came out of public safety.
I can briefly, on behalf of the members of the Public Safety Committee and the chief, what we deal with a number of times during our meetings are requests for accessible parking on residential streets. This ordinance does not designate or take away, and it allows us a little more flexibility. The original ordinance allotted two accessible spaces per each one of our 13 districts. But what we found, we would get a request for one in one district, whereas people would come and say, the family who used that accessible space have moved. Can we get parking back? So the suggestion, which was brought to council by public safety, was to amend the ordinance to allow us to flex those zones. If a space is no longer needed here, but a space is needed there, to allocate it a little more fairly. I should also note, these are not reserved accessible spaces. They're available to everyone. We try to locate them in an area. And everybody's familiar with their own neighborhoods where, you know, everybody knows that Phil's son parks his Mini right at the corner on Johnson Street, and that's his space. But in reality, it's still a public space, but you grant the courtesy, but it is publicly accessible at all times. We just try to locate it conveniently. This ordinance does not give or take away any spaces. It allows us to allocate spaces in the future when we get these requests without having to, you know, take the time. It'll take us sometimes 2 or 3 months to get a space reallocated. This way it would move a lot faster, and allow people in the neighborhood to kind of decide their own flexing problems. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom or administrator?
No, Mayor.
Okay, seeing that there's no further, may I have a motion to close public session on ordinance number 24-2095?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject ordinance number 24-2095?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes, so I'd like to thank the police department for all their hard work on and the research they did, and the Commission for Universal Access for their input on this. Thank you.
Councilman George?
Councilman Conover is correct. There's a lot of partners in this, and going into making the decision, and Borough Council for writing it up the way that everyone suggested. Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
Ordinance requiring first reading. Clerk, please report on the introduction of ordinance number 24-2096.
An ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 230-124 zoning map and 230-4 attachment 4 in order to update the zoning map within the Borough of Highland Park has been introduced by the Economic Development and Planning Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject ordinance number 24-2096, authorized for publication as required by law and set public hearing for October 15, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes, and to be clear, this is a cleanup, this just cleans up language in the zoning. Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
Now we move to the consent agenda resolutions. May I ask the council members if they would like any of the following consent agenda items be pulled from consent for a separate vote?
No, Mayor.
No, ma'am. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the following consent agenda items, 13A through 13E?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time for the second public participation. 3 minutes per speaker on any topic, subject to conclude by 9 p.m. Comments from members of the public attending in person will be heard first, followed by members attending on Zoom.
Angela Perone, 242 South Sixth Avenue. Senior Center has a problem with us. I have spoken to the mayor about this and Mr. Glazer. What, if any, progress has been done about getting us a bus?
Anyone else? Any member of the public who wish to comment?
You'll save, North Second Avenue, you'll save some emissions and energy if you turn this freezing or move up the air conditioning, although I see someone is suffering under the hot lights. It's so cold in here. When you walk in the Borough Hall during the day and half the employees are bundled in sweaters, it's too cold. Tonight, right now, it's too cold for most of us. And survey, this is pretty funny. There's no questions on the back for those of us without electronic gadgets. Okay, I appreciate coming back and you invited me back for more digging. You have two people, outspoken perhaps, who have water bills mine back 3/4, ended in 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, impossible. And you have someone speaking out to say pedestrians who has, water bill has quadrupled from less than 200 to 800. This is too fishy, this is too impossible. And I wonder, let's see, Highland Park's employee hand manual, page 21, falsifying documents. Is that going on here? And the reason I ask that, and I'm asking, back 10 years ago, 2014 and earlier, auditor, outside this building, whole different administration, whole different council for the most part. Payment on claims examined and reviewed. There were exceptions noted relating to missing authorizing signatures, missing approval signatures, missing receiving signatures, and missing claimant signatures. So, you know, it's very interesting. I thought things had calmed down, but now with this water meter stuff, I question what's happening. The next year, or 6 months later, January 2015, minutes from an adjourned meeting, page 326. You'll like this. Tax certificates were sold for the following premises. Tax liens held in December 2014. 2014. The tax collector determined an error because the lien was for 24 cents. Cents, not dollars, 24 cents, and the property does not exist. This is what we've been seeing here, amateur hour. And then you had another one, okay, $115 and change, property does not exist. Same page. So that's why I appreciate staying in Highland Park, and I'll be visiting because this is fraud.
Anyone on Zoom?
Yes, we do have someone on Zoom with their hand up, Sal Baptiste. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Sal Baptiste, I live on Raritan Avenue. Last council meeting, there was a comment made in reference to the many marijuana shops that 70% of Highland Park voted to legalize the sale of marijuana. And I did vote to legalize the sale of marijuana. I did not at any point vote to have a pot shop on every block of Raritan Avenue, which is what it's becoming. And I think it's dishonest to conflate voting to legalize the sale of marijuana with voting to have more, pot shops in town than there are places to buy alcohol. I believe this is the case. And a second comment I would like to make. I see that you are discussing the appointment of the new tax assessor. However, there is also a new crossing guard who should have been appointed. I believe she finished training already. And I don't see her mentioned anywhere, given everything going on with the privatization of the crossing guards and some, discussion that part of the reason for it might be that we're not attracting enough crossing guards. One would think that you would appoint her promptly upon finishing training. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, Mayor, I see no other hands up.
Seeing that there's no one else, may I have a motion to close public participation?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik?
Yes.
Borough Clerk, can you please respond to the community service bus?
Sure, we appreciate the inconvenience and we share your urgency to get it repaired. Well, we're not getting it repaired, it's unrepairable, so we've determined that. We're looking into options. One of the we don't have money in this budget, so we'll have to come to council either for a special allocation of capital funds to purchase a new bus. We're also looking into options potentially at buying a used bus, which has an advantage of being quicker. Potentially, and maybe a cost savings, but there's some procurement issues with that. So we are taking it seriously. I'm working with Kim, our Director of Community Services. It's a regular part of our conversation, as well as Public Works Director Mike Zerkowitz to try to sort this out. But it was an unexpected problem, and we're moving as quickly as we can to try to address it.
And as I also shared with you, Angela, when we met, that I have reached out to the county, our surrounding communities and other places to try to see if they had a bus that they could loan. No one has a loaner because there is a shortage of vehicles in general. So we are, as Terry said, she's doing her best to address this issue. As it pertains to falsifying of documents, I really don't appreciate that tone to be taken with any staff member. They are here to serve the community. They are not here to be bullied or harassed. So I really don't appreciate that tone. Water bill, if you have a water bill question, please go to the water department and have those addressed. That's it for my comments. We don't need a 5-minute recess, do we, council members? Great.
No.
Okay, may I move for an adjournment of this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our next council meeting will be on October 15th. Good night, everyone.
Good night.